Now, with the marking of Remembrance Day, now Prince Harry has had a message for veterans. He was obviously involved in active duty himself. What did he have to say?
So Prince Harry, we know that he's always stood up for veterans and lauded their service and being a veteran himself, we know that's something that he takes very seriously, especially being part of or creating the Invictus Games, and it's basically his MO now that he's left the royal family. Unfortunately, a lot of his comments or any kind of interventions that he has with regards to veterans around the world, particularly in the US, doesn't really go down very well. He's seen as this kind of upstart. He was never really in danger when he was in Afghanistan with his tours there. He really disgraced himself with the publication of Spare and putting his kill count when he was in Afghanistan. These are the kinds of things that have really left him in disrepute. And unfortunately, even though Remembrance Day is one of the key calendars, particularly for veterans in this country, he really seems to have struck quite a negative note. People are saying, who is this guy accepting awards on behalf of of people that or accepting awards, even though there are people that are more deserving of them. This is the only thing that he's known for. He's never really done anything or achieved anything substantial. He's kind of disgraced being in the armed forces by talking about tawdry things like the number of people he killed and really putting his family's lives in danger by saying it was members of the Taliban as well. So unfortunately, even though he did talk about service and sacrifice and all of that, he himself, his behavior in the last few years have really put a lot of veterans off. And it's quite unfortunate because if he had stayed in the army, if he'd stayed in the royal forces, he would have, in the armed forces, he would have been able to do a lot more good than kind of what he's done afterwards and just talking as if he has any sort of moral authority, which many veterans think he no longer does.
Well, I think that's a very fair observation. Now, we know Meghan is planning a new Netflix show, but we understand it's not going to air for some time. When should we expect to see it, and what's the delay? I've only got about 30 seconds left.
So we're still waiting on on Megan's series. We know that it's going to come out at the very earliest in late spring of next year. We know that the Netflix deal is up for renewal, I believe, in September of next year. So if this is not a hit, I suspect this will probably be the end of their relationship with Netflix. They seem to have missed a lot of targets, and it just doesn't look very good for the couple and their sort of production dreams and their dreams of becoming big in Tinseltown and influencing the world. But their good work. It's not looking very good. And I'm not sure a cooking show is going to be something that would revive that dying relationship, but let's see.
Very good. Esther Krakue, thank you so much for joining us.